Hello and welcome to the Forces Sports Show, where we've got the best action and biggest stories across the services this week, coming up in the next half hour. Rugby remembers the UK Armed Forces pay their respects on the field. Defeat for the women, but it's a thumping win for the men's team in Bristol. Rough and tumble, the best Forces fighters square up at the Inter-Services Judo. We start with a week of remembrance on the rugby pitch. The UK Armed Forces women had 7 current and former internationals in their side, but came up short against Wales for the second year running. But as Kath Brazier reports from Cardiff, the game was about more than the result.
There's no doubt that this game brings with it an added pressure, the significance of the occasion perhaps weighing too heavily on some shoulders. And after last year's crushing disappointment, when Wales took the game away from them in the first 20 minutes, the Forces side were determined to admonish those demons. Things looked promising from the start, with the visitors pushing forward early on, but a wing break from Wales saw them score first, Jess Kavanagh-Williams taking the ball down the left flank. UCAF worked hard in attack and put in some solid defence, but as the half hour approached, patient work from the Welsh forwards paid dividends as Caris Phillips crashed over for a 10-point lead. That was followed quickly by Lucy George, using all her strength to score from 5 metres out, then converting her own try for 17 points to nothing. The military team kept up the pressure though, and were rewarded through speedster Jade Mullen crossing over just before half-time. Converted by Gemma Rowland, the score was 17-7 to the home side at the break. Wales extended their lead just 2 minutes into the second half, a driving maul allowing Phillips to touch down. The Wales captain went on to complete her hat-trick with another score only 5 minutes later. But UCAF weren't done and showed they also had battling forwards. Inspired by captain Sian Williams, they scored their second try. Sarah Batley, the prop under the pile. Replacement Rhee Noakes made an impact off the bench with Wales's 6th try. Kavanagh-Williams with another scintillating run for the 7th. But it was the unstoppable Amy Cockayne who had the last word, the speedy hooker doing what she does best as the game came to an end. The final score 39-17 to Wales, but UCAF rightly pleased with their performance.
I couldn't be more prouder. I asked in the change rooms that we go out, we battle against Wales and we put everything to them, and the girls put their body on the line tonight, and that's all I asked of them, so I'm extremely proud.
I think just the preparation, the girls prepared really well. What we've worked on, we've had a really hard few days of training. I just think we were so prepared, we were so ready for this game.
It was a fiercely fought contest between the two sides and worthy of its annual fixture in the Arms Park Diary. The UCAF women only getting better and better as they look to honour their place in the calendar at such a significant time of year.
Well, the UK Armed Forces men's team had a more successful evening in their remembrance fixture. They came from behind to beat Bristol 42 points to 26 at Ashton Gate.
This year's Remembrance rugby match was the 8th occasion a Forces side had taken on Bristol opposition. The military men would eventually enjoy a handsome victory, but it was their hosts who set the pace to run in 2 early tries. Ewan Hughes diving in for a converted score after a quarter of an hour. Bristol doubled their lead minutes later. George Perkins cut through a yawning gap in the UCAF defence to dash home for try number 2. The Forces side opted for grunt over glamour as they registered their first points half an hour in. Having won a line-out, they rumbled their way over the line, with Matty Dwyer touching down for the converted try. Having narrowed the points tally, UCAF succumbed to a soft try on the stroke of half-time that saw Bristol re-establish their 14-point lead. James Newey gathered a loose kick to stroll in under the posts to help his side move in front 21-7. A superb second-half display from the Forces side blitzed their opponents with a succession of converted tries. Chris Leatham burst free, finding his Army colleague Owen Davis in support before Toby Mann from the RAF dived in at the corner. A fired-up Leatham helped UCAF level the scores. As the ball made its way along the line, the member of One Royal Irish galloped his way deep into Bristol territory. A few phases later, and skipper Rob Bell flopped in for the all-important score. By now, Bristol was struggling as wave after purple wave poured forward. The home side's defence was breached once more. This time, it was members of the Forces front five doing the damage, as Lewis Bean, Ed Pascoe and Nathaniel Titchard-Jones combined for the latter to score and put his side in front for the first time. Leatham popped up for an interception try as the home side wilted, with UCAF now 35 points to 21 up. The home side did claim their fourth try of an entertaining contest, although it came too late to influence the eventual outcome. Tom Harrigan touching down following Newey's grubber kick. But the final say went to UCAF, Bean powering home for his side's sixth try. This had been an entertaining fixture, perfect for the occasion and for the servicemen involved, pride and the hope the Remembrance Games live on.
Like I say, the emotion and all, like you can see what it means to the crowds who come to watch, the support we get and what it does for the charity. So it's really, really important that we put on a show to keep this fixture going, and that's what we did tonight.
We understand exactly where this, fixture lays, and for some of these guys, they'll have friends and colleagues who have made that ultimate sacrifice, and it was about us controlling our emotions during that pre-match ceremony and understanding that come that sort of fight, that first whistle, we were going to go and have a real go at Bristol.
I thought all 23 players wore that poppy shirt with pride this evening, and they did it justice.
I couldn't be prouder. From 1 to 23, all of those players were fantastic. They worked hard, they stuck together, all of the good core values of the military, and yeah, it was really pleasing that got us over the line and have a fantastic win.
A top night for UCAF in Bristol as rugby once more remembered the fallen.
Army and England winger Samisa Rokoduguni will be hoping to get the chance to add to his 2 international caps this weekend. The Lance Corporal has been named on the replacements bench for the first of the autumn internationals against Argentina. He scored 7 tries for Bath this season. Rocco was last seen in an England shirt last year, and he scored 2 tries against Fiji. Over 100 of the military's best judo players have fought it out for top honours at this year's Inter-Services Championships. The Army men and RAF women took the team titles. John Knighton reports from Yeovilton.
Judo is a sport where no quarter's given. Perhaps that's why the Inter-Services Championships are as keenly fought as any in the military. Fights can last for several minutes, or they can be over in seconds, as demonstrated here by the RAF's giant Andy Melvin. This year's the Navy's turn to host the event.
It's our biggest event of the year. It's almost got a 50-year history now, so it holds a special place in people's hearts. We've always had a friendly inter-service rivalry as well, so the opportunity to demonstrate which is a stronger force out of the 3 year on a year is it's a special thing.
Just about all the military's international stars are here, like Ghana's Emmanuel Nati. Several, including Alex Pask, Tommy Mercer and Alex Chu, have flown back from a GB training camp in Spain to be here. For Alex Pask, this is his first competition since recovering from a serious knee injury.
Today's been a big confidence boost for me, so I fought both fights for the team today. Really good just to sort of settle into competing against. It's a different mindset, and you feel different when you're sort of putting your body on the line, basically.
And he'll go on to help the Army to reclaim the senior title. The Masters competition proves as tough as any, demonstrated by WO2 bomber Brown, back from hip surgery, and UK Masters champion Sergeant Rob Sabella. Both men okay eventually. In the Women's Championships, the Navy are competing as a team again for the first time in a decade, bolstered by former national champion Leanne Black, up against the RAF's Jodie Thacker.
When I was younger, I did do like British Championships and Commonwealth Championships and quite a lot of different competitions.
Well, now you're in the Navy. Would you like to sort of get back into that sort of company again?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, it's good. It's good fun getting to these kind of competitions and meeting everybody. It's good.
The day proves a success for the RAF women. The Q Development grade and also Masters, where they take the team titles. So important at these championships.
Yeah, definitely. The teams is everything. Like I said to the girls fighting, it's not individuals, we combine and gel together as a team, so yeah, it is. It's really important. It's the most important competition of the year, I think.
All performances here are being keenly monitored and can lead to further opportunity. The best will be selected for the National Team Championships in July. That's why it's so important for the current Forces stars to be here.
To have great level judo here makes a real difference. If you go to compete outside the military, it can be quite difficult to get that high level of competition, and then you're always going against the same people. Actually, the military, we have a good turnover, we've got some really fit people, we've got some very talented people, and by doing something like the inter-services, we're really nurturing that talent to get people to be the best they could be.
The UK Armed Forces, it's fantastic to see so many people on the mat, especially women coming through now, and that's credence to the women's camps specifically that we've been running to gain more involvement at a grassroots level. So it's just fantastic to see an event like this with so many people fighting again.
In the individual competition, one of the most anticipated finals is the all-army meeting of Alex Pask and Emmanuel Nartey at 81 kilos. Nartey is one of Ghana's hottest sporting properties, and he would get the better of his GB rival by Ippon to be champion.
One of Scotland's biggest football clubs has been recognised for its commitment to supporting the military. Rangers have received the Armed Forces Covenant Award. David McCann went to the ceremony at Edinburgh Castle.
Rangers are used to picking up the prizes on the pitch, but this time the club has been honoured for their work off it. The Gers picked up the Armed Forces Covenant Defence Employer Recognition Scheme's Silver Award for their work with the military community.
It's a vindication of many, many years of work actually that we do at both the club and the foundation. Certainly it's true to say that Rangers fans have a strong affiliation with the Armed Forces, and the Rangers Charity Foundation has worked for a long, long time to work behind the scenes often to make a difference for the Armed Forces and veterans.
The Ibrox side have a long-standing commitment to working with the Armed Forces community. The club have donated thousands of pounds to service-related charities and donates tickets to veterans in the Tickets for Good scheme. The club also supports veterans after they leave the service with the Glasgow Veterans United project. Working with SAFA, Glasgow's Helping Heroes, they use football to help engage veterans who are struggling to adapt to civilian life and help them on the road to a brighter future.
It's a huge advantage really, because the company itself is being seen as being very friendly to the armed forces in particular, but in general being friendly towards, if you like, the country and what the country does. So it's incredibly important.
20 other companies from all over Scotland were also honoured with silver awards at the ceremony.
These people come well trained, well disciplined, and they do a great job for us, and we tie into it because we know we get reliability. You know, the guys just are very, very, very exactly what we want. And also the type of business I run, if they're reservists and they want to go away for 3 months and come back, that's absolutely fine. We can fit them into that. So we're flexible with them, they're flexible with us.
The Armed Forces Covenant Defence Employer Recognition Scheme recognises companies and organisations who demonstrate support to the Armed Forces and the values of the Covenant. Anything from supporting employees who are enlisted in the reserves to hiring veterans after they leave the forces.
There's no reason why not. It's just a win-win situation. You're giving hopefully employment to an ex-service person and also getting really highly skilled, motivated person into your business.
Hundreds of businesses and organisations across Scotland are supporting the military by signing the Armed Forces Covenant. And it's hoped these Silver Award winners will continue their good work and go for Gold Awards next year.
New Zealand's All Blacks are a force to be reckoned with on the rugby pitch, but they faced a very different challenge against a group of wounded, injured and sick veterans. 5 of the All Blacks took on the veterans at goalball, a Paralympic sport designed for the visually impaired. Kath was there.
3, 2, 1, coming.
Getting the ball past an All Black, proving just as hard in goalball as it is on the rugby pitch. But they weren't completely impenetrable. New Zealand's not-so-secret weapon Ardie Savea gutted to let one through, then saved by his teammate the very next ball. Goalball is a team sport originally devised in 1946 as a means of assisting the rehabilitation of visually impaired World War II veterans. 2 teams of 3 use a ball with bells inside. The aim is to throw it into the opposing team's net while defenders attempt to block it with their bodies. All the players wore eye shades to compete on an equal footing. Damien McKenzie, full-back or fly-half for the All Blacks, is known as the smiling assassin on the pitch. But how did those skills transfer to the goalball court?
You look at what some of these guys have to go through, and it's pretty special to come and sort of experience, I guess, that through this sort of sport and get some mingle with these people as well. It's pretty special to see what they have to do.
The players were helping to raise awareness of the power of sport as a tool for recovery and rehabilitation, a mantra that is proven over and over again with any number of real-life stories. John Giemza Pipe served 22 years with the Royal Artillery. He got involved with the Endeavour Fund through the Invictus Games.
When people see me, I'm lucky because there's me in my chair and I've got Toby beside me as my assistance dog, and people will take that as me being disabled. Whereas somebody who's blind, and there are a lot of people here today who even I went, oh, okay, you're legally blind. You wouldn't know it, and they walk past. And I think they have a much harder time than a lot of people who've got visible injuries. And we talk about invisible wounds and visible wounds. And I think a lot of people who've got the invisible wounds have frequently got a far, far harder fight to deal with than those of us who've got sort of the necessary sort of bits of equipment which people associated with being disabled.
John Beaver, meanwhile, served with 3-3 Engineer Regiment EOD and was injured playing rugby. He was medically discharged from the army but suffered further trauma in a motorbike accident.
It doesn't matter who you are, what you're from, you've got a kind of common ground that you can talk about, you discuss. We've been openly discussing PTSD on the benches over there today, and anxiety and stuff, and that's the thing with being around forces, guys. You've been there, you've done it, you've got the T-shirt, and you've got the badge of honour to say, I'm probably going through a few things.
Both Johns are huge rugby fans, so we're delighted to be in the company of some of the best players in the world. But maybe now they'll see it as a blessing that England won't be facing their new mates from New Zealand in the internationals this autumn.
And don't forget, you can follow all these stories and more on our Forces Sports Show YouTube channel and at forces.net. Well, on next week's show, we'll bring you the winners from the Army Sports Awards. We'll leave you with some of the highlights in 2017.